Good morning, all. Welcome to my vlog this morning. What I'm going to be doing today. Last week, might have been the week before, I don't know, sometime in the last couple of weeks, I made this. It's a brooder box for when I get my chickens. I showed it to my wife. My wife took one look at it. She said, "How many chickens you going to get?" I said, 26. She said, "That's too small." So like any good husband, I went out, did the research online to prove that she was wrong. Guess what? She was right. This little brooder box is great when I got little teeny tiny chicks. But in 3 weeks, which they're going to live in there for about 3 weeks, it's going to get too small because the chickens are going to grow up. So today I got a bigger box. And I'm going to use two. And I'm going to make it look just like that. So I'm not going to video that today. If you want to know how to do that, I'll put a link down below. And you can watch me build that one. Because this one's going to be just like that one, only a little bit bigger. Not that much different. But anyway, today I thought I'd reminisce, maybe rant a little bit. Talk about some things that kind of come to mind. I'm going to start by reminiscing, but I want you to know that when I reminisce, eventually I'm going to get to milking cows. I'm reminiscing. I'm going to talk about my Uncle Jack. Now, my Uncle Jack, when I was a kid, he was one of my favorite places. I used to love to go hang out with my Uncle Jack. He was a dairy farmer. He was a World War II vet. And he's one of those guys come back from World War II, got the VA loan, started his small farm. Now you say, why would you do that? Well, because in World War II, he was a spotter for the big guns, right? And what that means is he's the guy that they drop in behind enemy lines. And you got a big gun sitting here, sitting here, shooting at guys that are right here. All right, you shoot and you hit over here, you miss. Jack's the guy that's sitting out here in the middle of it all, and he says, well, you need to pull that in, put that out, left, right, whatever, and then shoot again, and then he'd base on that shot, and eventually he'd zero you right in, and you could hit the enemy. He said the biggest problem with his job was sometimes when he was out there in the field, they would take the gun, and they would move it over here, right? And he's here, and they shoot, and they hit over here. He says, well, you got to go out a little bit more because he thinks the gun's over here. He said generally in 3 shots he knew where they were at. Said the closest he ever come to dying in the war was he almost blew himself up a couple of times. But he was one of the guys that was lucky. He came back with medals and not a flag draped coffin. So that was my Uncle Jack. Now, why do I tell you that? Because Uncle Jack, during the war, he had a skill. He had a valuable skill. Right? He was in some places where guys died everywhere, and the reason he didn't die is because he was behind enemy lines and he was real good at hiding. You got to be real good at hiding to do that job. And like I said, in the war, when people trying to blow stuff up and kill you, really good skills. You come back to the States, not such a good skill. So he did what a lot of those guys did. He took out a VA loan. He started a small farm operation. And for him, that was dairy farming. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. But it's also really when they start with the factory farms. Now, Jack, when you think of factory cattle farms, factory dairies today, that's not really what Jack was doing. Same time, it's the beginning. He had I think 20 stanchion barn where he could have 20 cows in there at a time. He had the big milk. These days they got these lines that run the milk straight into the cooler. Back then we had to carry 5-gallon cans of milk. And when I started going to the barn with Jack, I was so small I couldn't carry the cans. Still, I loved it out there. One of my favorite places in life to be. I bring that up because I think about what they started doing in that time period. It's not really until, I wrote it down, 1987 is when raw milk became illegal. But it's right in there after World War II when they really start pushing commercial milk. Prior to World War II, prior to all these guys like my Uncle Jack who came back and opened up dairies, milk was what you got from your local farmer. And people did not drink milk the way we do today. You didn't do it. Why? Because milk didn't last. You didn't have refrigeration. I mean, yes, there were refrigerators before World War II, but everybody did not have one. So you didn't keep your milk in the fridge. If you had milk, it was warm. You had to have it pretty quickly from the cow, and it'd go bad really fast. So didn't drink a lot of milk. Doesn't mean people didn't have milk, but what is milk about? And the answer is butter and cheese. Food. It's about food. And then, like I said, after World War II, you got those guys. There was hundreds of them. I mean, my Uncle Jack was not unique in that respect, because there's hundreds of these guys, thousands of these guys came back, started these small dairies. And of course, you got other types of factory farming. We talk about chickens and meat cows and some of that stuff. But that's not what this is about. But he, like hundreds of these other guys, come back, start their small dairy, and they start selling their milk because the government's really supporting this stuff. And I mean, the government is really supporting this stuff. You got these local dairies where everybody's milk goes, and they process that milk. Now, their goal is to make this milk last. They want it to last a while, so what do? They start pasteurizing. There's a couple ways to pasteurize. One way to pasteurize, you kind of slowly, you bring it up to, I don't remember the temperatures, but you bring it up to a certain temperature and you hold it there for 30 minutes. And then you cool it back down real quick. Now that kills all the germs, but it doesn't wipe out the enzymes in the milk. The other way to pasteurize is you take it up to a higher temperature for, I don't know, I think it's 1 second, 2 seconds, might be 3. I don't know. It's not very long. You just have to get it hot. Once it reaches that temperature, you cool it right back down and it's pasteurized. Problem with that is all those enzymes that I was talking about that stay in it at the lower temperature are wiped out. Those enzymes are what's in milk that you want, the vitamins and enzymes and things like that. I don't mind you killing germs so much, although we're germophobic in this day and age. I don't know how I ever survived without my Lysol wipes as a child. My God, we played in the mud. But anyway, you got these local dairies, and that's all they're about. They're trying to make money, and in order to make money, they need to have a product that lasts more than 3 days, so they can sell it. And they're putting it in refrigerators and shipping it on trucks, and it's going everywhere. And of course, the government's out there advertising, you need to drink milk. Milk's good for you. Milk's good for your teeth, good for your bones, good for everything. That's a whole other discussion, but suddenly we've got milk. Growing up, when I went to my Uncle Jack's, my favorite place to be was in the barn. Loved it. Just like being around the cows, like working, doing that kind of stuff. So there's one reason I want to homestead, have cows. I like it. The reason I never became, because when I was a kid, I used to think I wanted to be a dairy farmer. Then there's this little thing that occurred to me, and that is, if it's Christmas morning, you've got the flu and a temperature of 106, where are you going to be at 6 a.m.? And the answer is, in the barn, milking cows, because there ain't nobody else there to do it. So that's the disadvantage, and that's some of why I kind of got that out of my head. Now I kind of think I'm looking forward to getting out in the barn at 6 a.m. to milk a cow. Getting lost in my own head there. Wander away. The other thing I remember about going to my Uncle Jack's is that even though he was raising this commercial milk and he was putting that stuff into the dairy and it was all going out to the market, when I went to his house, in his refrigerator, the milk looked funny because there was 2 sections to milk. One of my greatest memories growing up. If you're not familiar with that, milk's on the bottom, cream's on the top. It separates naturally. It's one of these things that always kills me. People got all these cream separators. Got this big thing. You got to whiz it, plug it in. It costs $300. Set your milk down. Give it a while. If you got the right kind of jug, which is a drain on the bottom down there, you open up that drain, the milk all goes out, you're left with cream. It's really simple. Doesn't cost $300 either. Takes a few minutes. Gotta wait for the milk to separate. Got lost. Oh yeah, I was talking about my favorite memories when I was a kid. being in his house. The challenge in the morning was my Aunt Nora would get up, and it was a race for me, because we always had cereal. You know, we go out and milk, come back in the house, we get cereal for breakfast, occasionally eggs, but usually we got cereal because, you know, Nora didn't get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we'd come in from the barn and, you know, smell like a barn, and get some cereal and go back out and work some more. So what's the challenge? What's the morning challenge? The morning challenge is to beat my Aunt Nora to the refrigerator to get the milk. Because if my Aunt Nora got to the milk first, she'd grab that jug out and she'd go shake, 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 and she'd pour the milk on your cereal. If I could get to the milk first, never shake it, take it gently, pour it on the cereal. Why? Because that's pure cream in your cereal. And oh my God, that's a big bowl of love. I miss those days, you know. I mean, that's a kid thing. It really is. But that's one of the happiest memories in my life. Beating my Aunt Nora to get the milk. Anyway, my point is, that's why I want to get back into milking. That's why I want a couple dairy cows. I don't want to raise milk for the factory dairy. These days around here, dairymen are out of business. You know, there's one dairy down the road from where I live. There used to be 3 dairies on this road 20 years ago. Now there's one. And I know the guy that owns it. Real nice guy. But he wouldn't sell me a gallon of milk for nothing. Why? Because it's illegal. And if he gets caught selling me a gallon of milk for more money than he can sell it to the dairy, the dairy will quit buying his milk, because government regulations say they can't, because he's selling it somewhere else. And there's just all kinds of regulations and rules and stuff, and it's ridiculous. You know, that's what we got the U.S. Duff for. They're the people who tell you that Mountain Dew is safe and good for you, but however, whole milk, that stuff's evil. If you didn't hear that, I said that stuff's evil. It's ridiculous. So anyway, that's my reminiscing. That's a little bit of a rant. I rant about that. You ought to be able to buy raw milk anytime you want it, anywhere you want it. As long as there's a farmer there with a gallon of raw milk, you ought to be able to buy it, put it on your cereal, or in your belly, or whatever you want to do. But since 1986, that's illegal. It's a crime. You could die, because you're not smart enough to be able to tell a good dairy from a bad dairy. You're not smart enough to be able to sniff the milk and tell whether or not it's sour. You're not smart enough to know whether or not a dairy is clean if you walk in there and check it out for yourself. You need the U.S. Duh to come in there and tell you all about it. I know, quit ranting. It's my rant. Hopefully I didn't bore y'all too bad with this morning. I'm going to go back and build another chicken brooder. And that's my day. Remember, my name's Mark. I'm just some old Kentucky homesteader. Apparently today I'm one that likes to rant and rave and reminiscing. Reminisce. Apparently today I'm just one who likes to rant and rave and reminisce. And I hope y'all have a wonderful day. If you like my rant, I might do it again sometime. You know, hit the little subscribe button, ding the little bell. Usually I do some work. Yesterday, just so everybody knows, I finished mowing my fields down at the farm. I got it done. I haven't checked the belt yet, but tractor kept working. So it's mowed. Yay! Y'all have a good day.